like everyone else, I'm concerned. I'm interested in quality, quality lawyering in our country. And like many people, I'm also interested in giving opportunities to everyone or a lot of people to become lawyers. And I'm not saying this merely because I even think that I'm not even talking of the need or the lawyer-citizen ratio. That's not what I'm talking about. I believe that people should have the rights or should have the opportunity to do what they like. There is nothing wrong if someone goes to law school and ends up not even practicing law. If all he wants to do is to just have the knowledge or to be called a lawyer and then go on to sell, maybe buy things and sell from China, if that's what the person wants to do, I believe that the person should be given opportunity. That, however, should not mean that we should reduce the standards or lower the quality of who becomes a lawyer. There are issues with our legal education in this country, and the issues have been pending for over a decade. When I was in law school, we were just in a class of when we're doing the LLB, we're about 100. When we were called to the bar, we were about 180. That was 14 years ago. Now, in a year, we often call, the main call is about 900,000, and then we have another 500 or so mini call. So the numbers are high. The question then is, how about the facilities? In terms of, and I'm not talking of sitting space as in classroom. I'm talking of the libraries. I'm talking of the moot court rooms. I'm talking of the lecturers, the quality of lecturers. What is their training level? How many years have they practiced to be able to teach? Those are the things we are concerned about. And you cannot have a law school who doesn't have a library. And here I'm not talking of just a physical library, but even online database. Students should have access to that. How many of our law faculties, how many of our law schools have such libraries, either a physical one or even online, where students can just log in and read any material from anywhere? How many of our universities have lecturers who are properly trained and have had that level of education to be able to teach? How many of our lecturers are actually publishing or doing research to enrich the teaching they are doing? How many of our universities are actually, if we are supposed to run a proper check, accreditation, So these are questions that we need to answer and not just focus on the numbers. You can have, when this problem persists, even if you have 10 people graduating, it will still be a question of quality.
So do you believe that we are at a point where we can really expand without shocking the system already, which I get a sense that the questions you're asking are not pointing to a certain positive answer?
Yes, I mean, it's not a positive answer. I'm telling you that we've had this problem of not being ready for the number of students we are producing. And that is why, for example, we are putting in a legislation, a law, to reform the system. So, for example, if you take Ghana School of Law, this is where everyone who wants to be a lawyer would have to come and sit in classroom for 2 years to be able to call to the bar. But they do not have the facilities. They do not have, some of them are actually using universities for their classes. Some of them, they do not have the requisite number of people who are teaching, and even the quality of the teachers. They need a lot more teachers, and they need people who have experience in either practice or have done research elsewhere.
Sorry, just help me understand. You're talking about the Ghana School of Law here, or the...
I'm talking about Ghana School of Law.
All right.
So they are using, for example, Ghana School of Law is using the facility of GIMPA for their classroom. Some are using the UPSC facility. Some are using KNUSC facility. The point we are making is that our reform is going to formalize that situation where we will transfer the training course, which is run in Accra or run by the law school, to the university. So if you go to GHOne, for instance, after your LLB, GHOne will have another program which will be accredited by the Board of Legal Education. So you migrate from your LLB, which is entirely for GHOne to decide.
Right.
Then you apply to join that which should have been happening in the law school. You continue from GHOne. So the law school now will have one exam for people to. So you do not have to come to Makola. I mean,
right. So then what happens to Makola then?
Makola has some facilities.
Right.
And Makola is actually under the Attorney General's office, under this ministry. It's part of is one of our agencies. And we need places for training for attorneys, investigators. So Makola could still be there, but it will be used for something other than formal, institutionalized legal education. Now, there are other aspects of legal education which Makola can still conduct. We have something called post-call. So those short terms, we could actually convert to judicial training. There are so many things we could do with Makola, but what we are saying is that for coming to Makola to sit in class for 2 years and go through another admission process and all that, we are transferring that to the universities, and we are going to carefully select these universities. It's not as if once you are university running LLB, then you can run the Makola program.
So when you say we, do you still mean that the AG will still be supervising the AG's office? I mean,
precisely.